What's up, YouTube? So I ain't gonna be doing a whole lot about the playing tournament mess. I'm just gonna talk about the losers and what I observed because I want to talk about two players in particular. I don't be, I'm not really a fan of the playing tournament because it really is bogus. When you talk about calls and stuff like that, well, if you are basically, it's like the NIT in college basketball, you're basically the 65th best team. There's a Sweet 64. So you're basically playing for the bottom end. And if you get lucky and you make a move, good luck to you. The Heat did it a few years ago where they got in and went deep. They lost in the finals. But I don't really find a lot of greatness to say about a playing tournament team because if 82 games you don't get it right, yeah, the chances are you're not going to. And I'm really not that big on it. I want to talk about John Morant and Trey Young and why they wasting people's times. These dudes should be two of the most exciting players going today, and they're not. They're not going where they're supposed to. John Morant at times looks like you think he might be somewhere between a Penny Hardaway meets a Steve Francis type of player with his athleticism, with a mix of Allen Iverson's record of abandonment and where he can go, and maybe a nod to Derrick Rose, maybe a few other people in there. But he can't get the job done because he's not a team leader. He's fun to watch. He contorts his body and got incredible athleticism with his dunks and his athleticism, but it's the attitude, it's the antics which kind of take away from the potential. And plus, the team is just as good if he's there or he isn't. So, what kind of superstar are you? And I am a firm believer that the NBA is like gonna be like, you either get it together, we're gonna suspend you. But it's gonna go one of three ways. We're gonna suspend you, we're going to send you to a crappy team, which we can make that happen. We can send you to Portland or somewhere where you'll be the new Dame Lillard and you might win 30, 50 games. You ain't never getting out the second round and you'll just stat pad and we'll blow you up. Or we get you to New York or somewhere where we can get you in the market and you clean you up. That's what I'm thinking that is probably the situation he might be looking at, you know. Um, it's going to be interesting how it all plays out with him because this is a cat that all the signs are there to be in something. John Sally was talking about him. He should be considered one of the best. Athletically, he puts you in a fair amount of few cats, but it ain't the results ain't there. And all that fake tough guy and all that bravado, it ain't working when it counts the most. So something got to give. As far as Trey Young, some people call him Trey DeBarge, like a member of the DeBarge family. And I look at him as like a triple Junior Whopper broke Steph Curry because the logo threes. Because without Steph Curry, would he be considered some sensation or would he be a guy who shoots a lot of bad shots? Leads the league in assists, has a nasty first step on the top of the key drive to the right perimeter. And for a minute, he made people almost question that trade for Luka Doncic from Atlanta to Dallas. It ain't the first time Luka's been traded. And he did get to the Eastern Conference Finals against Giannis. He won the first game. He was fun. How long is he going to be living off of that? How many coaches they got to go through? How many roster changes they got to go through? How many of his antics, his wild shooting, his turnovers, his lack of defense, and half-hearted play? I don't know what they're going to do. And I'm going to tell you a story before it gets too deep. He ain't going to never be better than Dominique Wilkins. I think they trying to let him stretch it 4 or 5 more years. It's not going to happen. They have some talent on that team. He's just a hindrance. So you got two cats who could very easily be traded. The difference between the two is that Trey doesn't do anything dumb. So he hasn't brought any of that on him. Except he does a lot of dumb turnovers. He's a turnover machine. The Hawks are underachieving. And the East is open from the slots from 5 on to 8. So there's no reason why they should be in a play. Oh, what? So he's an all-star who cries to get as an all-star, but he's played in 4 straight in-season tournaments. Make it make sense. He cried about getting an all-star. He's got 4 appearances. How you get 4 all-star game appearances and brag, and then you're in 4 straight in-season tournaments when you're not getting the job done, and you're running through coaches, and you have some talent? Both these cats are head cases in different ways. Ja just be trying to act out something. It ain't working. And Trey be just kind of floating through. So I don't know. Do they think they could be traded for each other? Would that make a difference? Ja in Atlanta would be wild. Trey in Memphis would be wild. Now, But something gonna give because both these cats has been taking money and underachieving. But let me know what you think. Like I said, I don't be spending a lot of time talking about no in-season tournament wins or not because if you got to play an extra game or two to see if you're worthy, you're not really worthy. And these two cats ought to be ashamed of themselves. They should be. Because there's no injuries that's lingering and hurt them. They're hurting their own selves mentally. So when you see these in-season tournament teams, study the roster and ask yourself how many so-called broke down teams got a Ja Morant and a Trey Young. If teams had those kind of guys with that so-called productivity, you wouldn't be an in-season tournament team. You'd be at worst the top 5 or 6. This makes no sense because both these cats then fell off, and they both peaked probably about a year from each other because Trey started a year before Trey's before Ja. Trey was in there in 2021. The peak for Ja Morant was 2022. What have you noticed? Neither one of them have been worth anything, and they've fallen with each passing year. Losing coaches, ego, and a whole lot of foolishness that has nothing to do with the game. Just telling you, that's why I'm only talking about these two. Who then fell off the worst of those two? That's the question. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like, and I'm out. Peace.